Well, hello, folks. Welcome back. Sorry about not being able to post that much on my YouTube channel. Wanted to wish everybody a late happy St. Valentine's Day for yesterday. I hope everybody had a good time, especially those ones who are in love. Me, I wish I had one. I did have one up until December 25th of last year until she left me. What can you do? Not much, especially when you're in love, right? Anyhow, just going to bring a little bit of updates here. My arm's still kind of sore. It's still kind of mending itself here. It's the upper right arm with a fracture on it. I just did some shoveling. Tried to do some shoveling outside. Not the greatest one in the world, but what can you do? You can only do so much with one arm, right? And especially with shoveling, it requires two hands, and when you're down to just one, it makes it harder to lift a shovel with a full load of snow in the front. Other than that, I'm trying to still work up on the Raspberry Pi, not the Raspberry Pi, the Arduino Uno Revision 3. At least try to get through one of the projects to get that done and out of the way, to get that first one done. It's taking a little longer because I'm always procrastinating and getting that done, but you know how it is sometimes. Uh, Besides that, I may just go for another walk or do my daily routines for walking. Simple fact is, I need to get my exercise done, and not many people who do this on a daily basis like I do understands it. Some of my friends think I'm a little Looney Tunes for doing it, but it has to get done. But when they see the amount of walking that I do, they understand afterwards only, or until they go through it themselves. Especially for the walking and all that. Uh, Besides that, it's still frigid. Well, not frigidly cold, but cool enough. It's about -5 degrees outside. One of those things, it's not so bad. At least it's not -20. From what the weathermen had forecasted, or what they had said in the almanac, it's supposed to be a lot colder than it was actually supposed to be. But so far, it's turning out to be a nice February. Job wise, I'm still looking for a new one. I'm still trying to find out a good full time job, not one of those contracts. Kind of get a little leery about contract work only ending up being a couple of months at a shot. I'm one of those guys who rather work full time at a place that I know that's going to be stable until I can retire and all that. So I'm still trying to look into that, and also trying to upgrade my skills as a programmer and technician. So I'm trying to do as many little side projects as I can over here to keep myself occupied at the same time while I'm doing the searches and all that, and trying to upgrade my skills. Not one of the easiest things to do, especially when you try to micromanage your time. That's one of the things that a lot of people, even technicians, don't have a lot of time of, is to get those certain little projects done and over with, and be able to be happy with it. So with those getting done, that do get done, you can always be thankful for. I know I'm one of them. I try to do as many projects as I can without going overboard. And I was just looking at my Raspberry Pi before, because I have a couple of SD cards. One of them is just for retro gaming, for the different consoles that are out there, along with one micro SD card for just the operating system and a couple of little applications on it. I'm still trying to search for some other uh, little things for the Raspberry Pi itself, just to try different things out on it, see what it can do, because it's a credit card sized computer, whereas the Arduino Uno that I have and the Dewey that I have are microcontrollers, so they're kind of in two separate classes themselves, uh, in the way they work. The Raspberry Pi uses an operating system, whereas the Arduinos don't, and they get connected to a computer in order to actually power up and receive the programs that are built for a particular project. So no really big operating system in that, in regards to the actual applications, because they get sent directly via through the USB serial port over to the Arduino, and they start running right away. So that's one of the things that I can say is fun and enjoyable because you get to learn at the same time, especially with the programming that is being dealt with the project itself. So that there, I can say, is you get a good interpretation of exactly what's happening between the actual Arduino unit itself, like the Arduino Uno, and the DUI as an example, because the processors are different, memory size is different, for both storing the actual application on board, and the actual physical memory that's on there for executing the instruction code and whatever else. So that there is a lot of learning comprehension of knowing what to do, how to do it, and how to optimize the code as well at the same time. So in many cases like that, it takes a little ingenuity in regards to it. It's like programming the first computers that came out, like the old Commodore 64, the old uh, VIC 20 as an example, which are basically the first generation computers that came out in the 1970s that used a version of BASIC on board. Here is more like the applications are done in C or C++, which is a programming language that gets compiled and then sent as an executable to the Arduino themselves. Uh, this also happens to be something very similar to like what you would use on your computers with Visual Studio, if you're using a Visual Studio environment for the Windows environment, or Codex, I believe, is the one for what they use on Apple's OS 10, since that's a Unix environment, and it's not. I'm not going to say. I don't want to sound like I'm putting OS 10 down. I don't. But OS 10 does have its good things, but it's geared more or less to the people who don't want to deal with a lot of the background stuff, like micromanaging what the operating system can and cannot do, whereas Windows is more generalized for the business side of things, where all the computers that you have out there, like Dell, Toshiba, Sony, uh, the clone computers, as an example, the what I call white boxes, coming from that era where going from an XT to a 286, 386, 46 Pentium 2s, Pentium 3s, 4s, where the motherboard is different from every other one that's out there. Not like in Dell, where they outsource their motherboards to like Foxconn, Gigabyte, Asus, or Asus as some people like to call it. That always throws me for a loop. Asus. I'm used to saying Aces, so, but I mean the actual company. If you say Asus or Asus like I do, we're both talking about the same company. So um, many times that I've done programming for both the PC and the Linux side, they're almost the same. There's little variants, little nuances between the two, but I mean, once you get to know one in one place and one in the other, you'll be able to distinguish the two. If you've never done programming on either, and you're starting from, let's say, a Windows environment, and you never worked in something like a Linux environment or a Unix environment, it's going to be kind of foreign at the beginning until you actually get the nitty gritty of what's actually happening, since the different versions of the graphical environment are different under the Unix or Linux side of things, whereas Windows is more stable to just one type of interface per generation of the version Windows that they have. So with that, we're going to see what else is going to come up. Um, Once again, I just want to wish all those, both ladies and gents, a happy Valentine's Day for yesterday, because I know we had it yesterday over here in Montreal. So I was kind of bummed out, especially yesterday, because especially when you have when you're used to having a girlfriend for a long term. Because I had two girlfriends overall over a span of 13 years, one of 10 or 11 years and another one of just 3. And then of course, when I split up with my ex, or not, I'd split up, she decided to split up with me for whatever reason she had, and which I didn't believe her in the first place. So it's kind of lonely, and I don't like. I'm not one of those guys who likes to be alone. I'm one of those guys who likes to be with somebody in a stable relationship. So I'll be back soon enough with some other things to get done here. Okay. And here I am at the hospital of St. Eustache to have my right arm checked up on. Right now I'm just waiting to see the doctor to see what's going to actually happen. It's just going to be some x-rays and all that. And hopefully everything's gone well with the mending of my fracture. So we're going to see exactly what happens. Right now I'm just waiting to see them. The appointment's for 1:40 this afternoon. It's just a little bit after 1:15, so we're going to see what's actually going to happen. It's going to be a long wait. I got a feeling it's going to be another hour and a half to 2 to see the doctor in regards to it. So let's take it one step at a time. Anyhow, so finally I got to see the doctor 2 hours later. My appointment was for 1:40. Came in for around just a little bit after 1. I was able to get the x-rays done and waited just over 2 hours to see him in regards to my arm. It's getting better, so that's a good sign. So another 4 weeks he wants to see me again with some x-rays to see if there's much improvement, which there is, and start doing some physiotherapy on my own. So I'm going to be doing that in the meantime so I can start weaning myself off of the brace that I have for myself, which is a good sign. If I am going to go out, just in case, like for a walk or something like that, just wear that just in case. But I can start weaning myself off of it, so that's a good sign. As for everything else, we'll take it one step at a time. I'm going to try to be more proactive now, try to get everything back into order, and hopefully land something that I can actually deal with and get myself going. So that's about it for this little vlog for the time being. Very short and sweet. And give me the thumbs up. Tell me what your thoughts are. Let's see what's happening. Okay, folks? See you next time. And here we are in Pointe on a Friday on top of it. Kind of quiet with my parents right now. I'm going to have lunch at Pointe. We go to a local little restaurant here to have fish and chips, which I'm actually going to go and join them. And my father's just going to pick up some bread, and we're going to go in to the Topaz Bar. That's where they usually have the fish and chips. So let's take a quick little peek in. Here it is, Topaz Bar. Checking from my mom's here. Hey, Steve. How you doing? Okay, you? Why does it feel like I've been transported, not knowingly, over to the flea market? Actually, I just had my parents, I asked very nicely, begging, to be driven over here. It's been a while since I've been to the flea market, so I figure why not on a Saturday take a nice little stroll into the flea market and see what's there. It's been about way too long since I've been to the flea market here in St. Eustache. The same place where I've been to on Victoria's Day when during the summertime. So let's take a quick look in, probably grab a quick bite to eat over here too at the same time while I'm here, and get my exercise in. And I have to get something here too for my ex's daughter, so it's her birthday coming up in April, so that's something I have to prepare up for as well, so might as well take a look to see if they have it here. Let's go inside. Anyhow, here we are, just outside of the flea market itself. They want to do any photography inside, but I did get 2 little keychains here with 3D engravings of my face. One for my daughter from a previous relationship and her mother. I'm going to pick up a third one for my mom, just so she can have one too, so she won't be complaining. But anyhow, I'll when I get home, I'll show this lit up at least on one of them, so that way you guys have an idea of what it looks like. Picked them up. It's $10 a thing there at a little booth, something similar to like the old photography booths. Instead of using the paper, they now can do it, etched it into small little crystals, and you can have it in portrait or in landscape mode. So depending if you have two people, you can put it in landscape mode and have both of your faces on there. So this is something I'm definitely going to send to my youngest daughter there from my previous relationship and her mother. So I'll be back soon enough. Anyhow, so here we are. Right now I'm waiting to be picked up with my parents there. They have to go over to Salamico, which is a German delicatessen, and I'm going to surprise my mom with one of the three keychains there, crystal keychains. I'm going to show you the other two that I have here. They're all of them are basically the same. I just wanted to give you guys an idea, especially for the ones that you love, especially for your wife or your girlfriend. This is something that I think they'll love to death in regards for something special and unique. Sometimes it's better than even having some lingerie or included with some lingerie. So take a look into this when I come back home. I'm definitely going to show it when I get back home on my webcam at home. So until then, just bear with me at this moment. I'll be right back from there. Hello everybody. Sorry about the delay of getting back here. I usually like to do my vlogs all in one shot, but this one is the case of the exception where it's going to be over the last couple of days. As I mentioned earlier, I did get some nice little things here. Actually, two of them. Actually, three in total. But just to show you, I did get what they call our, here we are, crystal keychains. Basically, with a three-dimensional image of my face in it. It was actually a little present I was going to get for my daughter from a previous relationship that I thought would have been nice for her. Just to show you here, it being lit up. There it is. Kind of hard to see through there, but it gives you an idea. I got this here actually at the local flea market that was close by to where I live, and it's her 17th or 18th birthday that she's going to be celebrating this coming April, which is close to my brother's birthday, which is April 17th. My daughter's birthday, I think, is in April 9th, so I'm hoping to send this out very soon for her. So I'm trying to get the last minute things done together all at the same time so I can actually eventually send it out to her. So that's one thing that I find very important. And as for the doctor, I'm finally off the brace. He told me to basically wean it off if I can. I've not used it for the last couple of days, and I've started to do some exercise as well to get the movement back in the upper arm. So what the doctor has suggested is a couple of little tricks there to start getting the muscles back into shape, back into what would be a reasonable amount in regards to the fractured upper bone that was actually fractured, which actually is near the ball and joint socket. So that's I had seen also the actual picture, so I have actually seen it where it was actually fractured in, and it's getting better. So it's just a matter of a couple more weeks, and I have to go back and see them again in regards to it. So hopefully I'll be back to typically normal in regards to that. And at the same time, I was also working up on my Raspberry Pi. My Raspberry Pi, but I had an SD card with the RetroPie. That kind of went amok in regards to one of the updates, so it kind of foobarred the emulation programs that were actually in there for the different gaming consoles. So I had to reformat it, reinstall on the SD card, and it's quite fairly large. It's a 128 gigabyte SD card, so it took a couple hours just to burn the ISO onto the SD card. It took about good close to about 3 hours this morning just to get that done. Uh, Believe you me, it's slow on a single core processor, so something like that I usually don't like to wait around in regards to it. Overall, things are going okay. Possible job interview for another company, so that's going to be good. I'm just have to reply back to them, finding out a little bit more, and possibly accepting it, so I'll have a new job to actually go to. What I'm going to do is probably create a new vlog after this one, get this one here and out to you guys, so you can actually see something in regards to what's been happening at my end for the last couple of days. I know I've been usually lax in regards to this. I usually have a couple of vlogs coming out every day or every other day or every other couple of days. Sorry about being so slack in regards to vlogging. Being single, once again, is not a fun thing I like being in. I'd rather be in a relationship at this point in time, considering Valentine's Day had passed this week, and a few other things, Christmas and all that. And it's kind of hard being single, going through that on your own, and especially when you don't have one to celebrate it with that's close by. It makes things difficult, and even with relationships across the earth, it makes it even harder because you're not there with them all the time. So I hope you'll like this vlog. Please give it a thumbs up if you like it, and if you have any other comments, put it down in the comment section. So I'll see you guys later on the next one, okay?